Yeah. Oh, and the other point you made, which was really beautiful, yes, as this conceptual adult, let's say, and Bill would always call it the old man, which I love because there's something in the Bible about the old man is I don't know how it says in the Bible. You'd probably know that, but anyway, he uses that term, and I love it. But as the old man, we are stuck with, if it's this, it's not that, or if I do this, I can't do that, or if I see it this way, then it's not. And they're always talking about, oh, it's such a paradox. And I realized after living in this light of the child and this child vision and this child presence and being that is with me now and how I see the world, nothing's left out. There is no paradox. It's amazing. It's all here, and it's all right, and it all works. It all works together. It's like a huge puzzle that all works together, and every piece fits, and every piece has its place, and there isn't anything missing, and you get to love it all. Even the pieces that you would have said, oh my God, that can't belong in there, and it does, and you just go, wow, this is extraordinary. So there isn't a paradox, and you do get to see and have and know all of it. Nothing gets left out. And yet, as you say, it is so simple. How can it be so infinite and so all and so everything and so all the minute detail and the perfect? I mean, you know how you look at the detail of a I don't know, anything material, they do a microscope, look at something, and you just go, wow, the detail of the beauty of a butterfly wing, let's say, and the detail of the face of a little insect, and you're just going, oh my gosh, look at the detail that God puts into everything. And all that detail is included, and yet I don't have to go around looking at all the details, It's just a knowing in the heart. It's just the knowing of such extraordinary beauty that's going on, such extraordinary mystery and depth and wonder, and you're living in that, and yet the simplicity of it is just so sweet. I don't have to do or think about any of it. I just get the freedom to enjoy just being who I am in all my ways, just in my delightfully human ways, not anything extraordinary. It's just like, oh gosh, how beautiful. Rich gets to be rich in all of his wonderful ways, with your background as a flyer, with your background in the Army, in the Air Force, with your background in Vietnam, with your background in how you were raised, and you're brought up in all the chaos and it's like, wow, what a beauty we are. I get to think about past lives. I get to think about, I know some of my past lives. I know who I was. I've seen them. They're all included. I don't throw any of that out, and they just make me more wonderful than I could even, I look at all that and I just go, wow, no wonder, I am who I am, and I love who I am. To love who you are, that we talked about that on the other one. It's like, yes, of course you love who you are. That's the gift, is to be loving who you are. And in loving who you are, oh my gosh, the love you can give, it's so beautiful. And on all different levels, that love can be expressed. And I'm just like, wow, I get to express this love to certain people, special people, my children, my world, the flowers. I get to love and love with my whole heart and love in the many ways I get to love. I mean, the whole thing has just become just such a divine, magical wonder, and I'm living in it. And
your invitation of cake is beautiful this morning.
Yeah, that was the sweetest thing. You know, my friend Rose from Canada gave me that idea about the cake. She said, Sandy, your book is going to be like everybody gets to eat the cake. Because I was saying, I'm not going to instruct anything. I'm just putting my passion out there. She says, yeah, it's going to be like a beautiful, beautiful cake, and they get to eat the cake. And I hope get to taste what I'm trying to share, get to come to where I am, and that would be tasting the cake, through my words, through my book, through my expressing this in a way that the words might open their heart too, so that they can taste this cake, this beautiful world that I've found, this meadow, and they get to be in the meadow for a moment with me, or as they read the book, or as they go back and read a page. I'm hoping that, they can read just a page and go, oh, just went there again. Oh, got another taste of the cake. Oh, I felt it again. I think if they keep feeling or tasting or consuming the cake, then possibly they will say, I want to know where the recipe came from, and then they will find Bill's books and find that, and especially The Child Within, that book is to me all the instruction we would need. At least it certainly was for me. And yes, I did have to read it many times, and I still, even when I pick it up now, I just, wow, that's amazing. He can write a few sentences, and you just go, wow. And now I understand it more and more and more and more and more. But every time you read that, you go a little bit deeper and you get a little bit more, because every time you read it, that is a magical book. As you read that book, you are transformed by it, even if you don't know it. You are being transformed. His words will transform you in that book. And he instructs how to read the book in there, and he instructs so many things in there. I mean, he gave his life to put that book out there. He really sacrificed everything he had to write that book. And I'm not going to let him down. I'm going to bring that book out there, and I'm going to get his message. I'm going to get that book recognized. And that's, as I said, that's my true goal. Because if people can read his instructions, I mean, he did it. He did it. I don't have to do it. God bless him. Because it's all in there. And word for word, you will begin to open up and understand, and you will start living it, and you can do it out of reading that book. That book is a gift to the world, and that's why I just have to keep doing this.
I know. Yeah. I have a whole bunch of technical points I'm going to blow off here.
Okay, all right.
Could you?
That's my Richie.
Would you speak to the overtone thing that he talks about in that book? Do you have a sense of that? The first 12 chapters were the bones, and the other chapters with Master Han and so forth. You have any inclination to chat about that at all?
Oh, the overtone, yes. Well, he does write about discovering the overtone way back in his letters years ago, but he said he found a way to write that produces an overtone, just like music. You hear all the notes in the music, but you don't hear the notes individually when you're listening to music. You hear what touches your heart. You hear the overtone. And he was given a gift from God to be able to write in overtones. And so he always says, listen, when you read my books, read with your heart. Don't try to intellectually decipher what I'm saying. Read it and let the overtone touch you. And it is much like listening to a symphony. As you read his books, you will hear the overtones. You will start to hear the whole of the music and how that whole music. I mean, we are touched by music. We know that. And we hear the overtone. We hear what the music is all about. And we don't hear the individual notes, but they're all involved in creating this overtone. So, yes, he had a gift for writing so that we could hear the overtones, and that's exactly what he did with that book. And he knew exactly what he was doing, and he did that intentionally. And that is a gift from God that he was given. He was given the gift of prophecy. He was given gifts that he doesn't talk about because he doesn't want people to get hung up on those things. But one of them was the ability to write in overtones, and that's what he does with that book. And that's probably, you're probably right, that's probably where the magic of it is coming from.
Yeah, I know. I know he also did that on his later talks. After he had discovered this, he found out he could do it with some degree of consciousness, and it almost sounds as simple as we give something to the brain, or the left brain, the intellectual side, rational side, to keep it happy, and yet there's a component or a counterpart of that, another tone that's sounded from the right side in terms of the artistic, heartfelt side of our nature, and then when they hit together, it's actually a momentary remembering in the heart of that, what would be a paradox to the mind. It's off and on at the same time. The mind can't relate to that. It's like, here's one of these technical points sneaking back in here. It's like a coin. The mind sees that it's either heads or tails. It has to be one or the other. No, it's a whole coin that has one side that's a head, another side that's a tail. And as you said last week, if you take the third position, you can see both sides simultaneously as one whole, and actually taking that position allows you to be the coin at the same time, so you not also know it from the inside out, basically. So it's not so much a paradox, and he's doing that at a level we can't relate to with our minds, certainly. But there's something that from a human standpoint, well, I got to do something. Well, if you're going to do something, go ahead and read his book. It has the capacity to take you beyond being just a doer in a relative world.
Well, that is a beautiful point, yes, because, years ago when he wrote his first two books, Guide to Awareness, he got, I guess it was the Philosophical Society of England, or whoever these, erudite noblemen were, they studied that book and said this was a perfect intellectual treatise on truth. And he was given that, truly, awarded that from them. And so he did know, and he was really brilliant. He was a genius. So the intellect is not left out. And that is, for him, that was how he connected to the world, was he knew that he had to get people to read by a calling to their intellect first, but just as you say, the intellect wants some answers. The intellect is the part of us that goes on this search. And he knew that. He knew all of this. And so intellectually, his books are, especially the first two, are, even The Child, but The Child is it's so full of richness that it is intellectually correct, but I don't think he was as steadfast as he was with Guide to Awareness in trying to get it intellectually whole, and grabbing the people through that intellect. And he does do it, and you're absolutely right. By going through the intellect, he somehow